It's been 4 hours. Do I need to call the doctor? Well, hello, bale of hay. You sure look sweet. Have you ever been on a bale fork before? We'll try to be very gentle.
Hey guys, you're watching Cole the Cornstar. If you're even slightly interested in farming or just want to watch a 21-year-old farmer get some stuff done, you're in the right place. If you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, write it down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Found earplugs. These are a little more comfortable than having the headphones on all day. On to the next one. Just like that, bean burn down is done. Yeah, this field's got an interesting shape to it. You can tell it's getting late into the planting season when Dad starts to get grumpy over small things, like unfolding the planter. I'm gonna go get us lunch. Got the food. While Dad's planting, I'm just gonna take a nap. Bye guys, bye! Folding up so we can go to the next field. Dad's a loser, he took a wrong turn. Back in this field again. We were able to plant the front of this field in corn. The whole thing was supposed to be corn, but the path that goes to the back half was just too wet, so we couldn't get corn planted in time. So now it's gonna be beans. That's why we're here again. This is the last field that we have to plant. Looks like Dad plugged a row. We're on our last pass right now for the year. We're just spoon feeding the boxes. We want these to be as empty as possible. That way we're not wasting a bunch of seed. And it looks like we're gonna basically be right down to the wire, which is perfect. We have literally 4 rows here left, and then from right here to these trees. Gotten her pretty close. It's time to power wash the sprayer again. Really? I don't understand what this reel contraption's for. Forgot my tripod, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it that I washed it. Hey Dad, you wanna grab me some Teflon tape?
I don't know if I have any, Cole.
Knew we should have bought some last time I went to the store. Clean as a whistle. It's a beautiful morning. We're gonna take those chemical tanks off, go in the big machine shed, grab new chemical tanks, replace those on the trailer, and we're gonna fill the sprayer with a little bit of water so we can flush out the booms. We're gonna do that in the driveway without killing the grass. Sound good? Sounds good. Oh yeah, and we bought 2 new augers. Hope you guys aren't mad at me. Good morning, Anna. Good morning. Sprayer's full of chemical. I'm gonna program my GPS to have everything I need, and then we'll start spraying. We're getting out here at the perfect time when the grass is small. That way we'll get a really good kill. Got my first load empty. Gonna go fill up again. We can do 67 acre batches, so we don't have to fill up all that often, which is kind of nice. It was looking pretty good this morning, but the wind's picking up. It's getting a little too gusty, and we want our chemical to go down on the weeds to kill the weeds, not into the air, into the neighbor's field. So we're gonna stop for a little while, at least to see if the wind dies down. If it doesn't, we're gonna have to find something else to do for the day. This is the champion seed that we planted here. These just so happen to be the straightest rows Dad has ever planted in his life. This was planted on May 4th, I believe. One of these days here, Brandon from Champion Seed is gonna come down and we're gonna do a stand count and we're gonna assess the overall health of the plant.
And I didn't realize it was that big gap. I would have turned around and ran her back down a little ways.
Better say goodbye to the holy jeans. Looks like we've got ourselves some jorts. It's 8 o'clock at night. We're gonna try it again, one more load before it gets dark. I think we'll be okay. We're gonna do some spraying. Winds died down a lot this morning. Ran off half a load last night and then it just started getting too dark and you don't want to spray once it starts getting dark. So had to call our quits for the night, but we're gonna run off this 500 gallons quick. Should give me about 33.5 acres. I had to park it on the other side of these weeds, didn't I? Got a good outfit going today. When you go across the rows with the sprayer, you end up running some over. And this probably won't come back once it's this tall. But if the corn's this tall, some of it might, some of it won't. But when you go down the row, you're fine. We're gonna check the engine oil real quick. Once everything's planted, it just seems like I live in the sprayer. There's a small storm front that's blowing through, so it's a little too windy right now to spray. So I'm gonna go back to the farm. Then Brandon from Champion Seed should be showing up here any minute now. And then we'll go check some stands and some fields and see how stuff's looking. Ah, I just started overflowing. I want to run, but my legs are sore. Shut it off! This is why we can't have nice things. I'm gonna come up there and pull that hose out, otherwise it siphons back down, and then you'll have an empty tank. Ooh, look who it is. Rain keeping us out of the field. It's the wind.
We're just going to do an early season checkup on the corn, do some stand counts and see if the amount of seeds per acre that were planted are roughly the same or very close to the amount of seeds per acre that emerged. We'll do a little digging, look and see how the root structure is coming up as well as the above ground, check for early season diseases or insect pressure, and just kind of do a little early season checkup. Really healthy. Kind of branches out at that perfect 45. If you go straight down, it kind of tells you there's some sidewalk compaction, but having that.
So if it's planted real wet and its feet hard,
You'll follow that trend straight down.
and that's not good because it won't have the strength when it gets bigger.
Yep. Especially like if you side dress your nitrogen in the middle of the row, it's harder for it to find that. So that's definitely a good sign that it's already starting to go outwards and down. And seedling depth looks right at kind of 2-inch mark.
That's where we were shooting for.
Take the amount of plants that are in this 17 feet 5 inches, multiply by 1,000, and that gives us a rough estimate of how many plants per acre actually got planted and emerged. And so we can take multiple of these stand counts across the whole field, kind of average them, and then get an idea of how many plants are going to be growing throughout the year for us. Gap where it's just missing one together. The better your soil and the more fertility you have, the more plants you can support throughout the growing year. So this little guy had a purple seed coat, which tells us it's the refuge. The rest of the seed has a red seed coat. And what the refuge is 5% of the seed in this bag does not have the insect resistance that the rest of the corn seedlings have. The reason for that is to help prolong basically the efficacy of the the insect resistance. So if you have a bug or an insect that is not killed or controlled by trait in the corn, hopefully by having some plants that don't have that, they would cross with a bug or an insect that not resistant to the trait, and therefore you wouldn't have insects that cannot be killed by the insect traits we have in corn.
So that's how big that one was compared to the other ones. They're not all like that, but that one's just smaller.
Here it is. You'll see about 98 to 99% of all the seeds in a bag will germinate, but
Brandon used to be a potato farmer. So we're looking at the yellowness on this, seeing if we can figure out why she's a little yellow.
so this one was planted a little bit closer to 3 inches. So it probably spent a few extra days underground and then came up right next to this plant that was planted at the more ideal 2-inch mark. And so the competition there, this one had a little bit of a jump start and is probably kind of shading out this one, its neighbor, just a little bit, which is probably contributing to some of the yellowness of this plant.
Wind died down, so we're gonna get back to spraying now. My neighbors hate me because I drive through their yard. I'm out of spray. I'm gonna go back and fill up again. Normally I have the semi-tanks in the field that I'm in, but since I'm in the field right around the house here, I'm just doing it in the yard. That way I can have the garden hose filling the tanks while I'm spraying, and then I won't run out of spray nearly as fast. Basically that garden hose can keep up with how fast I'm spraying it down. We are full. Let's reset the tank quick. Open the bottom valve on the tank, turn the pump on, rev it up. Take the emergency brake off, good to go. Sometimes when you're driving around after lunch, you get a little tired, so I'm gonna walk around for a minute so I don't fall asleep. Another one. I've been spraying for a while, and it's been kind of off and on. The wind's been picking up, then going down, then it's been sprinkling a little bit, then the wind picks up, and then it goes down. But looking at the windmills in the distance, I think the wind's gonna start picking up here, and it's gonna start raining a little harder. We'll ask my helper here what he thinks about that.
Sure.
Are you kind of bummed out that we don't get to spray more?
Sure.
What's your favorite thing about riding in the sprayer?
Sure.
Who do you like better, Cooper or me?
I don't know.
Front just hit us. My windmill prediction was correct. The wind's been really weird today because it started out of the west and it's done a full 360 today. It's blown out of every direction. Very weird. That's kind of another thing I like about the windmills, because you can see which way the wind's coming from, so it makes it kind of nice.